Hello and welcome back to the channel. Been meaning to put this video out for a couple days now, but wanted to gather some thoughts, gather some other people's feedback, and just really try and make this a little bit more cohesive than a rambling mess. So wanted to talk about Alliance War Season 46, which is appropriately named Fallback, because that's exactly what For Loki is doing this season. We are falling back. We are taking the season off. There's a couple reasons behind this. Number one, our officers put in a tremendous amount of time and effort, talking 4, 5, 6 hours per war. Sometimes they need more than 2 weeks off. It's also the holiday season. They deserve time away with their families. They deserve, the break. With that, I just want to thank them very much for all that they have done for the Alliance to make us as successful as we have been. Now, more importantly, though, is maybe the second reason, and that's what I'm going to get into in this video. So, wanted to start with what is season 46 all about? So, the attack tactic, or sorry, the defender tactic in this one is Crush 2.0-3. So, it's the highest level for Tier 1 wars. And this tactic, what it does is for tactic defenders, it will inflict the attacker with two 15% potency daunted passives every time they gain a bar of power. So what does that do? That increases special attack damage by 15%. It lasts 25 seconds, and there's a maximum of 12 stacks. Crush also means that during specials, if the attacker has two or more daunted effects, they are passively rooted. So with being rooted, there is a 20% chance per daunted effect to have the special attack to be passively unblockable. Well-timed blocks do ignore the unblockable, and this cannot be affected by any ability accuracy reductions. So basically, what does all that mean? You get them above a bar of power, they have 30% increased potency on their special attack, and you have a 40% chance for the attack to be unblockable. So, pretty tough to deal with, just naturally. So let's look at the tactic to help overcome that. So now the sturdy attackers, if you land an intercept, it inflicts a 10-second taunt on the defender. Now, if the defender throws a special while taunted, it drains all of their power. Sounds pretty good. We'll lower the amount of times that the tactic defender can throw specials. It also grants a steadfast buff if the attacker has 0 power. So when you drain their power, you get a steadfast buff, which then will allow you to block unblockable specials. In theory, sounds great. Not easy by any stretch of the imagination, but they do play off each other very nicely. So you get a daunted, you get a way, they throw an unblockable special, you have a way to block the unblockable special. So now, with that, Bam's thoughts. Their concept behind this was, yes, we want the tactics to be tougher. We want them to be harder. We want to reduce the impact of a single death on the outcome of a war. So, really reducing the stress on the individual in a war. In Tier 1 wars, a lot of them are very, very low death counts, 5, 6 at most. Many, that we fought last season, we went up against alliances that died 0 or 1 time, and I think 4 or 5 of the 12 wars. So, it is very, very stressful on the individual fight. So they're trying to reduce that a little bit. And also, they're trying to remove wars that end with, 0 to 1 death. It's just the way it is, that ending a war where you die only 1 time and you lose because the other alliance didn't die at all is a little stressful and not that much fun. So those comments are made on some of their live streams, some of their forum posts, and things like that. So no inside information, no direct quotes, no anything like that. Just kind of my thoughts on what they were thinking. Now, why are we taking the season off? The nodes are flawed, you know, and the concept is flawed. They wanted to increase deaths, and it's going to accomplish that. Just based on the preliminary results of the first war, the top tier alliances are dying anywhere from 10 to 25 times. So you take where they were dying 0 to 5 to 10 to 25, that's a dramatic increase over where it was the season before. The bigger issue to me is tactic attackers get no real advantage, no tangible advantage. And that's because, while yes, if you get the intercept in, you can block an unblockable special. The problem there is that with each daunted effect, which you're going to have a minimum of 2 on you, they get 15% increased special damage per daunted effect. So that's a minimum 30% increased special damage. Blocking 1 to 2 specials is going to cost you either potions, a death, or both. So, you're going to have to heal up after fighting a tactic offender in most cases, unless you can, you know, perfectly dex or perfectly well-timed block every hit of their special, you're going to take a pretty good chunk of damage. If they have, 4, 6, 8, which is very possible, stacks of Daunted on you, you're not going to survive. It's just the way it is. So, other issues with it, potion costs and size, they haven't changed. They're really basically the same as when 6-star champions were released. A lot lower health pools back then. Um, so looking at it now, an ascended rank 5 6-star, a rank 3 7-star champion, after the revive, which is 40%, is going to take anywhere from 5 to 10 potions to heal up if you're boosted. I know, just thinking of one off the top of my head, my rank 5 ascended Rintra, when I am more boosted, has 135,000 health. And you're looking at the potions you can buy for loyalty, capping out at 9.5k. I'll take a chunk of those. Or I'm going to have to spend 60 plus units per heal to get a larger heal. And it's just going to become extremely costly. And you still have the 15 item limit. So you die once, you use 8 or 9 potions, you're not going to be able to heal up chip damage later on down the road. It's just the way it is. And then the other issue is AW rewards. They have stayed practically the same this season over last season. Yeah, they've been increased year over year, but for the most part, this season, practically the same as last season. So to me, the juice just isn't worth the squeeze. The amount of cost that you're going to have for Alliance War just isn't worth the rewards you get. Is it nice to have, hey, our Alliance finished in Masters? Yes, that's great. That is a reward, but that's not enough, at least at this point in the game. So can it be fixed? I am not a person who likes to bring problems to the table without providing a solution. So here's a couple of my thoughts that I had. I had really 3 different ones. One, reduce the timer on Daunted. Make it about 10 to 15 seconds. That way, if you want to dance around, you have time, you can dance around and let those Daunted effects wear off. The current 25 seconds, there's no way. You're not going to be able to dance around consistently for 25 seconds, get them to throw a special, dance around for 25 seconds, and repeat the whole time, or you're going to time out. There's just too big a health pools, too much that you have to do against some of those nodes. That is just not going to work. So lower that. It still punishes the attacker a little bit if they need to and if they want to go fast, but it does provide a little bit of a way to get through the node, if you can. The next would be to tap the number of daunted debuffs, or conversely drop it, so you could drop it from 12 to 5, or you drop it from 2 per bar of power to 1 per bar of power. That way, at 5, daunted debuffs on you, it is still a 100% chance for the special to be unblockable, but it will lower the effects of the next part of it, which was the special damage. So, you push them above a bar of power, they have 15% increased special damage instead of 30%. At 2 bar, when you get to that second bar, it's then 30% instead of 60%. So, it dramatically decreases the amount of damage, from the unblockable, so you can keep that. Or, you can just drop the whole 15% increased special damage, per daunted effect. It would still root the attacker with a chance for the defender to go unblockable, but it doesn't punish then the tactic attackers. It gives them a real advantage to bring in an attacker that has the attacker tactic on it. So you get that, intercept, and then you can safely block the special, and you just take normal special chip damage, which is still considerable on some fights. So, I think any one of those 3, combination of them, something like that would work very well. To me, ideally, up the daunted debuffs from 2 bar of power down to 1. That lowers the number. You're still at 5 bars of power, which you're going to push them to probably 5 bars of power in a fight. gives them a 100% chance for the special to go unblockable. I think that to me is reasonable. It still is tough to deal with, but a little bit more fair. And then the second would be to drop the increased special damage and just let it be unblockable. In Alliance War, you're going to have 15 to add 15 to 30% for 1 2 stacks of Daunted. That special goes unblockable. You're going to die regardless if you don't dex it completely. So it does give the tactic advantage a realistic advantage um, to using a tactic attacker. So, that's just kind of my thoughts on where it could be fixed. Would it still increase deaths? I think so, but it would make it a little bit more fair, bring the cost down a little bit. I don't mind if Kabam gradually increases the difficulty of war. But they've taken it from 0 to 60 in like 0.05 seconds. It was a drastic change very quickly, very much overnight, without any other changes to support what they're trying to do. So, what are your thoughts? You know, I want to hear from everybody on what your thoughts are. Please leave them in the comments below. Am I way off base? Is this fair? Are you enjoying the first war and the off-season wars with these tactics? You know, to me, I haven't heard anybody who's really come out and said that they're thoroughly enjoying the tactics. Some of them are putting up with it. Some alliances are still pushing. God bless them. They are going to be in for a very costly war season. Just looking at the totals from the first war and the war that I was in, we're going up against an alliance that was pushing, and they're had significant you know item use costs just in the first war of the season. There's 11 more to go, folks. So leave your thoughts, leave your comments down below. Am I way off base? Am I on target? Just kind of love to hear your thoughts and your feedback on it. My thoughts, I've kind of shared them, so hopefully in a way that made sense. But, you know, that's kind of where I'm at. And I do want to thank you very much for watching and listening to me ramble on yet again. But, that's just kind of where it is. I would appreciate any likes, any subs that you can throw my way. It does help the channel. It does help me. And with that, until the next one, everybody have a happy holiday season, and we'll see you in the next one.